Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. I'm Halima, and if this is the first time you're watching me, I want to say a big thank you to you, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for my 100+ subscribers. Well, thank you for sticking by me, and remember to always like this video, comment and share. Today I'll be taking you through how to make this flex cycle dress I'm wearing. It's actually very free. It's beginners friendly. It can be used as a maternity dress, and it drips properly on all sizes because it fits all sizes. So please sit down and watch this video to the end, and hopefully at the end of this video you're able to make one of this kind of dress for yourself. So before we get into the illustration, it's very important you subscribe to this channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below. I'm watching you. Do hit the subscribe button down below. Put on your bell icon, that way you get notified whenever I upload new videos. And don't forget to like this video, share. On my table I have my cotton fabric, my measuring tape, my scissors, I have my pencil, I have my pins, I have my rulers, and I have my matching thread. So on my table I've gone ahead to fold my fabrics as needed for this illustration, but I'll be using this paper to model the direction to which I folded my fabric. So just watch this paper as a guideline to folding your fabrics. So that's the salvage edge of the fabrics. Assume that's the salvage edge of the fabrics. Using my ruler there, you fold it into 2 halves like this. Yeah, that's 2 half folding. First step, I label the center fold of the paper just to make it clearer for you to see that the paper was folded into 2 halves in this direction. So take the folded side to match the edge of the fabric in this direction as illustrated, as if you're forming a triangle. You see what I'm doing? That is the way you fold your fabrics too. Is that clear? In so doing, our paper is in the same direction with the direction of the fabric fold. So let's move to the next step now. The next thing we need to do now is to get our shoulder to shoulder measurement. Divide that measurement by 2. For my own case, my shoulder to shoulder is 16. Divided by 2 is 8. So that's why I'm showing you 8 there. I'll look for the mark of 8 where I can find the position I can find 8 and place it on the fabrics. I found my shoulder location on my fabrics, which is 8. So go through your own fabric and find your exact shoulder location. Rule it out with a straight line, and then go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the paper just to show you the same process that is done on the fabric is repeated on the paper. So let's do it together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark out 3 inch on the shoulder line, and I'm trying to draw the back neckline curve. So it's 3 inch by 2 inch. That's a 2 inch there. I'm going to put down that and draw out the back neckline curve because that's what I need to use for my back neckline. So do it the same as I've just illustrated, and let's move to the next step. The next thing we have to do is to measure our shoulder drop. My shoulder drop is 1 inch. Go ahead and measure yours, and then connect the shoulder drop line. Connect the shoulder drop from the neck points you made for the back neckline to the shoulder points. Draw out a straight line and connect both points together. Go ahead and do yours, and that's the shoulder drop. I've drawn out the shoulder line on the fabrics. As you can see, I'll go ahead and repeat the same process on the paper. In case you can't see the shoulder line I drew on the fabric, so that will help you out to see what I did on the paper. Please go ahead and do yours, and then that's the shoulder drop line. So that's the neckline point connected to the shoulder drop line on the paper. Next step is to measure the armhole depth distance. I've just measured out my own and placed on the fabrics and make a mark at that particular point. So go ahead and do yours and make a mark there. I'll repeat the same process on my paper just to model what I've done on my fabric and to give you clarity on how to do yours. So this is the same armhole depth I've done there. Square out the line just like this. So on the square line, put down your bust measurements. Your bust circumference divided by 4. Put down the value. Mine is 10.5 plus 1 inch, making 11. So put down your own bust measurement there and mark that point. Connect all points together starting from the shoulder drop and make a armhole curve. I've used the paper to make a clear illustration on how to follow the points together to create the armhole curve. Just follow the same illustration, there's no hard rules, and make your armhole curve. Sketch an armhole curve on it. Just imagine it and sketch the armhole curve. Thank you. And then let's go to the next step. Alright, the next step now is to connect from that armhole point. That means the bust point and the end of the seam allowance you put. Connect both points together and draw a flare like this, and then draw it downwards and connect it to the fold line, and that's it. That's how you connect your dress. And then you go ahead and cut it out just from that direction you have made. You just go ahead and cut it from that point, just the way I'm doing. You cut it bit by bit. You go around the curve line, go around the edge, and then cut through. Remember that on that bust line, it has to be your bust plus 1 inch or 1.5 inch, just to give freedom along the bust line, because there's not going to be zip on the dress. Just go ahead and cut like. Just to help our beginners to understand this better, I've gone ahead on my bust line on the paper to make the calculation down there so that you can see what I did on that to get the point on that bust line. So it was my bust divided by 4, which is 10. My own bust divided by 4 is 10.5, plus 1 inch for seam allowance, plus 1 inch for zip allowance. So that already makes it 12.5. So because I'm not going to have any zip there, I've taken care of all that particular area, so it's not going to be tight along the bust line. So from that point on my fabric now, you can see the way the armhole is being cut on the paper. I'll use that method to cut that same armhole on the fabrics and cut every other part that is not needed, like the shoulder drop areas and the neckline, back neckline area. So let's just see how everything has been cut off, and then that will be the next step I'll do now, is to separate the back from the front and draw out the front neckline curve. So they're all made on a fold, both the back and the front. So we'll just go ahead and pick out the back and first, and then we'll now I'll reshape the front neckline for the dress. So my front neckline I'm using is 6 inch by the same 3 inch. So I'll go down deep by 6 inch. So that's the front, that's the panel. Just look at the way I did the paper illustration, just to show how I cut out the fabric panel. So I've also gone ahead to like label both sides of the paper on center fold, because the both sides of the dress are cut on the center fold pattern. So there's no zip allowance for this. Next is to join the shoulder seam of both the front and back panel together by sewing in that direction as I illustrate my fingertip. Join the other side of the panel together too by sewing in that same direction. I've placed the pin just sewed down, and this is the final look of the shoulder seam. The next thing is to put our face band, because I'm going to be doing a bias face neck facing on it. So the bias facing will go measure your neck circumference and cut your bias facing to that dimension of the neck circumference. So putting right side, putting the facing and the neckline together, I've just gone ahead to pin it, show you how I'm going to pin it around the neckline, and I'll be taking it down to the sewing machine to sew along the neckline, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. That's the look of the bias fabric that's been sewn on the neckline. The next thing I want to do now is taking that facing. I have to fold it twice just to have it folded in, and then I'll top stitch it outwardly. After folding it properly like this, I will now pin it down to secure it, and then I'll top stitch it outwardly. I'll show you the finished look. So here's the finished look of the dress line with the bias binding on the neckline, and has a clear finished look. Just look at how the bias was sewn around it. So the next thing we need to do now is to do our sleeve. I've gone ahead to cut my 2 sleeve pattern I'll be needing. If you haven't watched my video on how to make a sleeve, I'll put the link below so that you can watch my video on how to cut your own sleeve pattern. So I've gone ahead to impute my seam allowance on the sleeve crown. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to go to my sewing machine to get all these sleeves stitched in place. So this is the final look of my sleeve. I have inserted the sleeve and gone ahead to fold the hemline of the sleeve by top stitching it 1/2 inch outwardly and folding it neatly inwardly. So go ahead and do yours. And also I went ahead to also work on the hem to fold it neatly. As you can see, it is neatly folded, and I top stitch it outwardly too. Please do fold your hem. This is 0.75 inch, and I've gone ahead to fold it properly and everything looks good. So this is my final dress on the table, well finished and neat and ready to go. And I'll show you what it looks like when I dress on with it. Thank you, and I hope this tutorial was very helpful to you. Please subscribe, like and share, and see you in my next video.